I'm built to win. Applied myself, I filled it in. No time for the doubt, they counted me out, I'm getting it in. Yeah. No time for no loss, I'm paying the cost, I'm in it to win. Yeah. Refuse. Mine, it can't be diffused. If you ain't thinking the same, then we playing by different rules. You can't see the vision, we living at different views. Until we complete the mission, keep getting up, never snooze. I walked a mile in my shoes, had the mind of a fool, chasing diamonds and jewels. Trust me, I was confused. Started minding my business and used my mind as a tool. Ended up finding my purpose and found the time to get to it. They told me I couldn't do it, they told me I couldn't make it. They sold it, could never break it. That's sadly mistaken. I need a piece of the pie, I want it so bad I can taste it. They told me like Toby, keep on running toes, they gon' take a few to lose. Built to win, applied myself, I filled it in. No time for the doubt, they counted me out, I'm getting it in. Yeah. No time for no loss, I pay for the cost, I'm winning to win. Yeah. Refuse to lose, I'm built to win. Applied myself, I filled it in. No time for the doubt, they counted me out, I'm getting it in. Yeah. No time for no loss, I'm paying the cost, I'm in it to win. Yeah. Refuse.
Welcome back to CTC. I'm your gracious host, Carl, and I'm back with another episode. Today, we're just going to be talking about the Friday night lights of week 5 of college football tonight. First game starts in about an hour. I wanted to time it up that way, so when I get off, I ain't got too much to do before Florida State, Virginia. But before we do that, I'd like to ask that you like, comment, share, subscribe. It helps the channel. It helps the network. It helps my channel, CTC, by way of the Refuse to Lose Network. Now, we did touch a milestone. We did get over 100 subscribers. I was happy about that. So shout out to all y'all that was a part of that. We're currently sitting at 103. Looking forward to growing the channel some more. But like I said, this is a network, so we have other shows. We have the main show featuring Joe, Tomo, and Dave every Tuesday and Friday night. So they will be live after me from 7 to about 8:30ish. So y'all tune into them. Should have some great topics for week 4, in the NFL. We have baseball with Teddy. Shout out Teddy, man. My Tigers are in a huge series with the Red Sox. We need the series win badly. If we win the series, we should be in the playoffs no matter what. It's sad we've come to this. We also need the Guardians to lose the series. So, if the Rangers want to help out with a sweep, man, I'm all for it so we can win the division. But y'all tune into his episodes when he drop them. We got Unfazed every Tuesday night, 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central, featuring Joe and AJ. So make sure y'all tune into them. We have FFC, Fantasy Football with Coach Coombs. Week 4 started last night. It was a slow game. Ended up being a very good ending for Thursday Night Football with the Seahawks and the Cardinals. Just kickers messing up at the end of the game. So, but hopefully y'all got some fantasy points. Hopefully, I know a lot of people was killing Marvin Harrison, and rightfully so. Marvin Harrison Jr. first half, but hey, he made up second half. Caught a touchdown, got involved. But that first half drop that led to an interception was terrible. But hopefully I got some points. JSN, first half, 0 yards. Ended with 79, 80 yards receiving. So that boy's just a monster. He's just nasty. But next show we have Dave's Doghouse highlights and lowlights of sports. So make sure y'all tune into him. RBO, Real Ballers Only. NBA training camps have started. So make sure y'all be on the lookout for him to drop his shows. They should be coming soon. Next, we have let's see what we have next. I'm trying to make sure I don't forget nobody. The Joe Jordan Show. He just dropped the episode recently talking about the Kings and Jonathan Kuminga. So y'all make sure y'all tune into that. And it was I believe another one was about, I think the other part was about Cowboys and Packers coming up with Michael Parsons' return. Make sure y'all tune into that. And last but not least, we have In the Red Corner, a boxing show featuring Ty, Ricky, and Tomo every other Sunday. So y'all make sure y'all tune in to that as well. And I believe that's all the shows we have on the network. So make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe to those shows as well. And if you like what you're listening to, stick with us. Now we're going to start talking about the polls. And before I go down the polls for week 5, I would like to say that they finally heard me because TCU is now ranked. TCU is now ranked 24th in the country. If you've been following the show, you know I've been saying that TCU should have came into the season ranked. It took them 5 weeks, but they're finally ranked, really 6, if you want to count week 0. But they are ranked. So shout out to TCU for that. Stay tuned because TCU actually play tonight. So stay tuned if I think they still remain ranked or if I believe they become unranked after tonight. Next, we'll just start going down. So first, Ohio State, number 1. No shock there. Number 2, the Hurricanes move up from 4 to 2. And honestly, I'm not mad at it. Shout out to the U. Shout out A. Shout out Dave. Shout out Cave. He don't really follow like that, but he is a Hurricanes fan. Hey, they got some good wins, dominant wins. Penn State, they haven't really played anybody. They play somebody tomorrow, though. So I'm not mad at Miami jumping them. Speaking of Penn State, they just dropped back to 3. LSU moves down to 4 because Miami went from 4 to 2, so they just basically dropped. 5 is Georgia with a big matchup against Bama coming up. 6 is Oregon. That's the matchup right there. Oregon, Penn State at Beaver Stadium. So that's going to be fun to watch. 7, Oklahoma, which if you haven't seen it, check out my short. I talked about the John Mateer injury. So I think Oklahoma at 7 is fine. 8, Florida State plays later on in about 50 minutes to an hour. They play UVA. 9 is Texas A&M. 10 is Texas. Honestly, I'm not going to lie. Texas might need to be out the top 10. I need to see something. I would probably, with last week's win, I would have Texas Tech at 10. They're at 12, which I would put them at 10. Indiana at 11 is cool. I would probably have Texas somewhere like 15, 14, because I think Ole Miss I will put in front of Texas at the current moment. And Ole Miss has a big matchup with LSU tomorrow. But yeah, Indiana's 11, Texas Tech is 12. I said Texas Tech. Texas Tech is 12. Ole Miss is 13. Iowa State is sitting at 14. Tennessee is sitting at 15, which something in me wants to put Tennessee higher, even with that loss to Georgia. They really lost that game, like the field goal kicker missing at the end. But I'm cool with that. Georgia Tech at 16. Bama at 17. Vanderbilt, 18. Michigan, 19. Missouri, 20. USC, 21. Notre Dame, 22. Illinois, 23. TCU, like I said, at 24. And shout out to BYU at 25. Now, here's my thing. I believe Auburn should still be ranked. Close game, close loss to Oklahoma. Missed a couple calls in the Oklahoma game that could have swayed the game. Probably will wait on ranking BYU. I wouldn't be mad if Auburn was still ranked ahead of Notre Dame, Illinois, TCU. So if Auburn would have dropped to like 21, I'm cool with that. I do think Auburn should be ranked. Now, outside of the rankings, other than Auburn, because Auburn's like 26 right now. So like that, that one spot out. We have Mississippi State, South Florida, Utah, Arizona State, Memphis, Louisville, Maryland, UNLV, UCF, and North Texas, which I said earlier. I think on my recap, look out for North Texas. They are not a team to be slept on. I think Arizona State should be ranked too. I know they lost to Mississippi State, but Mississippi State's getting, people are looking to rank them. And Utah, I know the end result ended in a blowout, but Utah played Texas Tech tough throughout that entirety of that game. The score does not reflect how close that game was. So Utah, I think, should deserve to be ranked too. I do think it's kind of crazy how teams take one loss and they're now unranked, but Illinois could lose by 50 and still remain ranked. They lost by 50. Like, Auburn lost to Oklahoma by 7, and now they're unranked. Oklahoma's a ranked school. Okay, Arizona State, they lost. They dropped out. Cool. But Illinois lost by 50. It remains ranked. So I don't really see the consistency there. But, hey, that is my little spiel on poll talk. I'm going to go through these comments, and then we'll get on to the 2 games I wanted to talk about, 2 out of the 3. and I'm pretty sure you can guess the two. But the first one, week 5, let's go. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The season's moving by too fast, man. My boy Joe says #1 college sports show. I appreciate that. Man. I mean, I would say it's some guys that's above me right now, but we moving. Shout out to Cover 3 podcast. I used to listen to them all the time. I stopped because I don't want their thoughts to infiltrate mine, but I was an avid Cover 3 podcast listener. Shout out my brother again. He says Ohio State, we #1. Yeah, enjoy that, bro. Enjoy that for now. Shout out my boy Leon. My boy, played basketball, direct, all that. He said I've been waiting. Shout out to my boy. He said he's been waiting now. Keep doing your thing. I appreciate you, my boy. I appreciate you for tuning in. I appreciate you for subscribing. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate the support from my boy Lee. And I mean, since he here, DMV cameraman. If you still do the videos, I mean, hey, he's sharp with it. So if you want to do music videos, anything, holla at my boy Leon. But let's get into the first game I wanted to talk about today. We wanted to talk about Florida State coming in at 6.5-point favorites against Virginia. 7 o'clock on ESPN. They're in Charlottesville. Florida State, 8th ranked in the country. Now, Florida State is down 2 running backs and Cam Davis, and Roydale Williams. So that's big, but they got the #1 igniter of their offense, and Thomas Castellanos, who's going to initiate, I should say, the run game anyway at that quarterback position. Big reason why Florida State is undefeated right now. Now, Virginia, they got a quarterback that's going to initiate the run on their own, and Chandler Morris. They got a nice running back in Jamari Taylor. I'm interested to see what he does. But let's talk. Now, if you're new here, the way my previews go, I get 5 keys on each side for how they can win the game. And at the end, I pick a winner and briefly explain why I'm picking that winner. So I always start with the road team. So we're going to start with Florida State. Florida State, they got to contain Chandler Morris' legs. He is a runner, dual threat guy. Don't let how he looks confuse you. He could definitely turn them legs. So you got to contain him. You got to have a spy, or, just DNs can't, get outside the pass rush lanes because he can burn you. Thomas Castellanos, like I said, he got to initiate that run. You got to run him. You got to keep that defense on their toes. Now, Virginia defense, man, you can put up points on that defense. So if you get that defense off balance, you're looking to have a great night, which leads into the next point that Florida State has to run up the score. So score. Make Virginia have to match you on that scoreboard with that Florida State defense. You want to get out to an early lead. You want to get out to a 2-3 touchdown lead and let the Florida State defense hunt. Get Deuce Robinson and Squirrel White the ball, especially Squirrel White, the speedster. Get him the ball in the open space. Let him do what he do. And you want to protect the football. You don't want to be on the road, hostile environment, night game, Friday night. College kids is out of classes. Student section should be rocking. You don't want to give Virginia any momentum. You don't want to give them any short fields. You want to protect the ball and make Virginia have to work to score and work to beat you. Now, if you're Virginia, you got to find ways to get stops, man. Like I said, Virginia's defense has been real rocky. They've been giving up a ton of points against better competition. I always go back to this NC State game. They were up 24-14 at halftime and ended up losing, 31-38 or something like that. It was something like that. They lost. They gave up so many points in the second half. Could not stop NC State's offense in the second half. So you got to find ways against this Florida State offense to get stops. You got to establish Jamari Taylor. Like I said, I'm interested to see what Jamari Taylor does against this Florida State defense. I do want to see that. You got to get the ball to Cam Ross in open space. He's your playmaker. Rather it's punt returns, wide receiver, all that. He's your playmaker. You got to get your playmakers the football. And you got to contain Thomas Castellanos' legs. Like I said, man, Florida State down Roydale Williams and Cam Davis. They're going to lean a lot on Thomas Castellanos to initiate the run game. You got to take that away. And if you're UVA, you got to force turnovers. You got to get short fields. You got to get momentum. You got to create extra possessions. You got to get this defense off the field. So you got to create turnovers. But in the end, I'm going with Florida State. I think Florida State is just too much. I get it's a weekday night game in Charlottesville. Like I said, hostile territory. But I just think that Florida State defense is going to hunt. I think Florida State will have a good time scoring against this Virginia defense. I don't think the stops come in a bunch for the Virginia defense. They might get one or two, or a couple, I should say. But I think they have a tough time stopping this Florida State offense, which allows this Florida State defense just to hunt. So I'm going to roll with Florida State in this game. And then that's going to take me to the matchup I can't wait for after this comment. Shout out my boy Leon. He said, for sure, he's still doing the camera work, so make sure y'all holler at my guy. He said Florida, TCU, Houston. I'm watching. Yes. Florida. Oh, Florida State. You mean Florida State? Yeah. Okay. You had me confused for a second. All right. I'm not talking about the Houston Oregon State game. Just FYI, I don't think that's the game I want to talk about. But next is the last game I'm gonna talk about tonight before my show tomorrow, and that's TCU at Arizona State. TCU, like I said, ranked 24th in the country. Arizona State coming off of a big win against Baylor. They are 2.5 point favorites in this game. This game is 9 o'clock on Fox. Now, like I said, man, I was so excited TCU got ranked. I've been screaming it since week 0. They should be ranked. They should have been ranked coming into the season. But for TCU, you got to protect Josh Hoover, man. Josh Hoover is the engine for this offense. They're without Kavorian Barnes, so they're going to lean on the arm of Josh Hoover a ton. And you got to keep him upright so he can deliver the football. You got to contain Sam Levitt because Sam Levitt will beat you with his legs. He's honestly probably the biggest threat to run the ball for Arizona State, and that's included with Raleek Brown and those guys. You got to watch Sam Levitt. Identify Jordan Tyson every play. Baylor did a good job throughout majority of the game taking away Jordan Tyson from Sam Levitt, and that honestly slowed down the Arizona State offense a ton. But when Jordan Tyson gets going, say goodnight. Say goodnight. Can Jeremy Payne step up in the absence of Kavorian Barnes? He did a pretty decent job last week for Arizona State against not for Arizona State, for TCU against SMU. My apologies. He did a fairly good job. He was able to bust some runs. He didn't break them like any 30 plus, but he did a nice job in the absence of Kavorian Barnes. Can he keep that up against the stingy Arizona State defense? And I said it last week, and then he went for 200 plus and 3 touchdowns. I'm gonna say it again. You got to get Eric McAllister the football. He is your big play guy. He goes up and gets it. He's your deep threat. He's all that for you. Get Eric McAllister the football. But if you're Arizona State, you obviously want to run Sam Levitt to keep the defense off balance. You want to establish Raleek Brown. And this is what I'll say about Raleek Brown. I need Raleek Brown to go north and south. Last week against Baylor, I saw a lot of east and west. You just got to sometimes go north and get what you can. It's not always going to be there for you to go east or west, make a guy miss, and try to break the big one. Sometimes you got to get in the teeth of the defense and get 2-3 yards. I need to see more of that this week from Raleek Brown. Get off the field on third downs. That's going to be big because TCU has a high-powered offense, and if you keep allowing them to convert on third downs, they'll eventually lead to touchdowns. Now, I added this one because of last week as well. You need 7s, not 3s, or 6s, I should say. Extra point. Kind of give me in college. They kick from the 2 still. But 7s, not 3s. And why I say that? Because Baylor's defense did a great job of bending but not breaking against Arizona State last week. They gave up field goals in positions where Arizona State could have easily got touchdowns. And that ultimately allowed Baylor to stay in the game. And with minutes left, the game was tied at 24. In a game that Arizona State felt like they dominated throughout, but just could not convert for touchdowns. If you do that against this TCU offense, you will regret it. And last but not least is get Jordan Tyson the ball. It was 17-16, Baylor up, and Jordan Tyson took over, scored the touchdown, got the 2-point conversion, put up 24-17 before Michael Trigg scored to make it tied. But Jordan Tyson was big. And then on the game-winning drive, Jordan Tyson gets a fourth down catch, draws an unnecessary roughness, keeps the drive alive. So you got to get the ball to your best player on the second. It's an argument between Sam Levitt and Jordan Tyson who's the best on the team. Because to be honest, last year Jordan Tyson had basically zero receiver help, and he still had over 1,000 yards. And he didn't even play well, but he had Cam Scatterbo last year. This year it might be, I don't know, but it's an argument. Jordan Tyson is nasty. But my winner, I went with them in the preseason. They're in Tempe, night game. I'm going Arizona State. I'm taking Arizona State, man. I think that defense is for real. I think that defense could get stops against Josh Hoover. I think they could pressure Josh Hoover. I don't think the TCU offense is going to be nearly as explosive as it's been these past few weeks. While Arizona State offense, they can take advantage of the TCU defense. Now, TCU got some guys on defense. Don't get me wrong. Bud Clark, Obizor, the linebacker. They got some pieces there on defense. They got some guys. But TCU defense as a whole does give up points, allow SMU to get back into that game. Was up 28-24 at one point before TCU scored 2 straight touchdowns and got a pick to ice the game. But I think this TCU defense is vulnerable against this Arizona State offense, and I think Arizona State offense will convert for touchdowns and not just settle for field goals. I'm going with Arizona State at home to win this game. Give me Arizona State. Now, the last couple comments, hey, Lee, you my guy, but this is one of my biggest pet peeves. It's Florida State, not Florida. Florida's a whole different team. That's the Gators, which I don't even remember who they play this week. But Florida State played tonight, and they're -6.5. But yeah, I'm going Arizona State, man. And that's the end of my Week 5 show for for Friday Night Lights. I will be back tomorrow morning to talk about Saturday as a whole. Oh, shout out my boy Lee. He says, question is 10-2 week 4 on screen your record. Yeah, so this is my pick'em record. So throughout the entirety of the year, right now I'm 40-20. Last week was week 4. I went 10-2. My only losses was Arkansas choking to Memphis and Nebraska losing to Michigan. Those are my 2 losses in week 4. Yeah, so which was a great bounce back from week 3. Trust me, week 3 was nasty. But yeah, so that's my pick'em record this year so far. But yeah, thank y'all for watching. The R2L main show is in about 40 minutes. 35 minutes. I say 35, 40 minutes. Make sure y'all tune in to Joe, Tomo, and maybe or maybe not Dave. But I'm gone. I'm about to enjoy these college football games tonight. Like I said, it is 3. I did not talk about Oregon State, Houston. I mean, Houston should win that. Oregon State has been bad this year. Even though I will say this, it is 10:30 in Oregon State, in Corvallis. Maybe some challenges with that. But other than that, Houston should win it. But again, I'm gone, y'all. See y'all tomorrow. Peace.
Thank you for staying to the end. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like this video, subscribe, and also hit that notification button so you can be notified next time we put out a video. If you're listening on any podcast platform, subscribe and hit that notification button, y'all, so you can be notified we put out another podcast audio. And last but not least, hit that share button. No matter what you're listening to or watching it, hit that share button and send it to somebody that you know that would love to watch this episode you just listened to. So once again, thank you for staying to the end, and we'll see y'all in the next episode.